Welcome to Color Igniting the Curious Mind, Chapter 22, Chemical Coordination and Integrations. You have already learned that the neural system provides a point-to-point rapid coordination among organs. The neural coordination is fast but short-lived, as the nerve fibers do not interviate all the cells of the body and the cellular function need to be continuously regulated. A special kind of coordination integration has to be provided. This function is carried out by hormones. A neural system and the endocrine system jointly coordinate and regulate the physiological functions in the body. Endocrine glands and hormones. Endocrine glands lack ducts and are hence called ductless glands, and they secrete several hormones. Classical definition of a hormones has a chemical produced by endocrine glands released into the blood and transported to a distantly located target organs, and current scientific definition as follows. Hormones are non-nutrient chemicals which act as intercellular messenger and produce a trace amount. A new definition covers a number of new molecules in addition to the hormones secreted by our organized endocrine glands. Invertebrates possess a very simple endocrine system with a few hormones, whereas a large number of chemical act as hormones which provide coordinations in vertebrates. Human endocrine system is described here. Human endocrine system, endocrine and the hormones producing diffuse tissues, cells located in different parts of our body constitutes endocrine system. Pituitary, pineal, thyroid, adrenal, pancreas, parathyroid, thymus and gonads. Testis in males and ovary in females are organized endocrine bodies in our body. In addition to these, some other organs, gastrointestinal tract, liver, kidney, heart, are produced hormones. A brief account of the structures and functions of all major endocrine glands and hypothalamus of a human body is given in the following sections. The hypothalamus. As you know, hypothalamus is the basal parts of a diencephalon forebrain, and it regulates a wide spectrum of body function. It contains several groups of neurosecretory cells and the nuclei which produces the hormones. These hormones regulate the synthesis and secretion of pituitary hormones. However, the hormones produced by the hypothalamus are two types: the releasing hormones which stimulate secretions of pituitary hormones, and inhibitory hormones which inhibit secretions of pituitary hormones. For example, the hypothalamic hormones called as gonadotrophin releasing hormones GnRH stimulates the pituitary synthesis and release of gonadotrophin. On the other hand, the somatostatin from the hypothalamus inhibits the release of growth hormones from the pituitary. These hormones originate in the hypothalamic neuron, passes through the axon and released through their nerve ending. These hormones reach the pituitary glands through a portal circulatory system, regulate the functions of anterior pituitary. The posterior pituitary is under the direct neural regulations of hypothalamus. The pituitary glands. The pituitary gland is located in the bony cavity of sella turcica and is attached to the hypothalamus by a stalk. It's divided anatomically into adrenal hypophysis, neurohypophysis. Adrenal hypophysis consists of two portions: paras and distals and para-intermedia. The parasdistilla region of the pituitary, commonly called as anterior pituitary, produces growth hormones: prolactin, thyroid stimulating hormones, adrenal corticoid trophic hormones, luteinizing hormones, follicle stimulating hormones. The para-intermedia secretes only one hormone called as melanocyst stimulating hormones. However, in the humans, the para-intermedia is almost merged with the paradistilla. The neurohypophysis paras nervosa, also known as the posterior pituitary, stores and releases two hormones called as oxytocin and vasopressin, which are actually synthesized by hypothalamus and transported to the anoxyli to the neurohypophysis. Oversecretion of gonadotropin stimulates abnormal growth of the body, leading to gigantism, and lower secretion of gonadotropin hormone resulting in stunting growth, resulting in a pituitary dwarfism. Excess secretion of growth hormones in adults, especially the middle age, can result in severe disfigurement, especially the face, called as acromegaly. glia, which leads to the serious complications and premature death if unchecked. The disease is hard to diagnose in early stage and often goes undetected in many years until changes in the external feature becomes noticeable. Prolactin regulates the growth of mammary glands and formation of milk in them. The TSH stimulates the synthesis and secretion of thyroid hormones from the thyroid gland. The ACTH stimulates the synthesis and secretion of steroid hormones called as glucocorticoids and from the adrenal cortex. The LH and FSH stimulates the gonadal activity, hence called as gonadotrophin. In males, the LH stimulates the synthesis and secretion of hormones called androgen from the testes. In the males, FSH and androgen regulating spermatogenesis in a female LH inducing ovulations are fully mature follicles, Graafian follicles, and maintain a corpus luteum formed from the remnants of the Graafian follicles. After ovulations, the FSH stimulates growth and development ovarian follicles in female. The MSH acts as a melanocytin, melanin containing cells, which regulates the pigmentation of the skin. Oxytocin acts as a smooth muscles of a body, stimulates their contractions. In female, it stimulates the vigorous contraction of uterus at the time of milk ejection from the mammary gland. The vasosperine act mainly has a kidney and stimulates the reabsorption of water electrolytes by distal tubules and thereby reduce loss of water to the urine, diuresia, hence also called as antidiuretic hormones. An impairment affecting the synthesis or the release of ADH results in diminished ability of the kidney to conserve water and lead to the water loss and dehydration. This condition is called as diabetes insipidus. The pineal glands. The pineal glands is located in the dorsal sides of the forebrain. The pineal secretes a hormone called as melatonin. Melatonin plays a very important role in the regulations of 24 hours rhythms of the body. For example, it helps to maintain the normal rhythm of sleep-wake cycle, body temperature. In addition, melatonin also increases the influence of metabolism, pigmentation, the menstrual cycle, as well as our defense capability. The thyroid gland. Thyroid glands is composed of two lobes which are located on the either sides of trachea. Both lobes are interconnected with a thin flap of connective tissue called as isthmus. Thyroid gland is composed of follicles and stromal tissues. Each thyroid follicles is composed of follicular cells enclosing a cavity. These follicular cells synthesize two hormones, tetraiodothyronin and thyroxine, that is T4, and triiodothyronin, T3. Iodine is essential for the normal rate of hormonal synthesis in thyroid. Deficiencies of iodine in our diet results in hypothyroidism and engagement of thyroid glands, commonly called as goiter. The hypothyroidism during pregnancy causes a defective development or immaturation of growing baby, leading to a stunted growth of cretinism. The mental retardation and low intelligence quotients, abnormal skins, and deaf mutism. In adult women, hypothyroidism may cause menstrual cycles to become irregular due to cancers of thyroid glands or due to development of nodules on the thyroid gland. The rate of synthesis and secretion of thyroid hormones is increased by abnormal level, leading to a condition called as hyperthyroidism, which adversely affect the body psychology. The exophthalmic goiter is a form of hypothyroidism characterized by the thyroid gland protrusions of the eyeball and increased basal metabolic rate, weight loss, also called as Gravel's diseases. The thyroid hormones plays an important role in the regulation of basal metabolic rate, and these hormones also support the process of red blood cell formation. Thyroid hormones control the metabolic carbohydrates and protein in fats, maintenance of the water electrolyte balance, and also influenced by the thyroid hormones. Thyroid gland also secretes a protein hormone called as thyrocalcitonin, which regulates the body calcium level. Parathyroid gland. In the humans, 4 parathyroid glands are present on the neck's backside of the neck thyroid gland, one pair of each 2 lobes of thyroid glands. The parathyroid gland secretes a peptide hormone called as parathyroidal hormones. The secretion of PTH is regulated by the regular circulation level of the calcium ion. The parathyroid hormones increases the calcium 2 level in the blood, and the parathyroid hormones acts on the bones and stimulates the process of bone reabsorption, dissolution, and demineralization. The PTH also stimulates reabsorption of calcium too by renal tubules and increase calcium absorptions from the digested food. It is thus clear that the PTH is a hypercalcemic hormone. It increases the blood calcium level along with the TCT. It plays a significant role in calcium balance in the body. The thymus. Thymus gland is a globular structure located between the lungs behind the sternum on the ventral side of aorta. Thymus plays a major role in the development of immune system. This gland secretes a peptide hormone called the thyrosin. Thyrosin plays a major role in the differentiation of T lymphocytes, which provides a cell-mediated immunity. In addition to thyrosin, promotes the production of antibody to produce humoral immunity. Thymus is degenerated in old individual results in decreased production of thyrosin. As a result, immune response of old person becomes weak. Adrenal gland. Our body has one pair of adrenal gland and at one anterior part of each kidney. The gland is composed of 2 types of tissue. Centrally located tissue is adrenal medulla. Outside its adrenal cortex. Under production of hormones by adrenal cortex, alter carbohydrates metabolism, causes acute weakness and fatigue, leading to the Addison's diseases. The adrenal medulla secretes 2 hormones called as adrenaline and epinephrine, and non-adrenaline and non-epinephrine. These are commonly called as catecholamine. The adrenaline and non-adrenaline are rapidly secreted in response to stress of any kind of emergency situations, also called as emergency hormones or hormones of flight or fight. These hormones increase alertness, pupil dilations, piloerections, raising of hair, and sweating. Both the hormones increases the heartbeat, strengthen the heart contraction, rate of respiration. Catecholamine also stimulates the breakdown of glycogen, resulting in an increased concentration of glucose in the blood. In addition, they also stimulate the breakdown of lipids and proteins. Adrenal cortex can be divided into 3 types: zona reticularis, inner zona fasciculata, in middle layer, zona glomerulosa, that is outer layer. The adrenal cortex regulates many hormones, commonly called as corticoids. The corticoids, which are involved in the carbohydrates metabolism, also called as glucocorticoid. In our body, cortisol is the main glucocorticoid. The corticoid which regulates the balance of the water electrolyte in our body, also called as mineral corticoids. Aldosterone is the main mineral corticoids in our body. The glucocorticoid stimulates the glucogenesis, lipolysis, and proteolysis, inhibits the cellular uptake and utilization of amino acids. Cortisol is also involved in the maintenance of cardiovascular system as well as kidney functions. The glucocorticoid, particularly the cortisols, produce anti-inflammatory reaction and suppresses the immune response. Cortisol stimulates the RBC productions. Aldosterone acts mainly at the renal tubules, stimulates the reabsorption of Na plus and water, secretion of K plus and phosphate ion. Thus, aldosterone helps in maintenance of the electrolytes, body fluid volume, osmotic pressure, and blood pressure. A small amount of aldogenic steroids are secreted from the adrenal cortex, which plays a role in the growth of axial hair, pubic hair, facial hair during puberty. Pancreas. Pancreas is a composite gland which act both as exocrine and endocrine gland. Endocrine gland consists of islets of Langerhans, which are about 1 to 3 islets of Langerhans. In a normal human, pancreas represents only 1 to 2% of pancreatic tissue. The 2 main cells of the islets of Langerhans are the alpha cells and beta cells. Alpha cell secretes hormones of glucagon and the beta cells insulin. The glucagon is a peptide hormone which plays an important role in the maintenance of a normal blood sugar level. Glucagon acts mainly on the liver cell hepatocytes, stimulates the glucogenesis, results in an increased blood sugar hypoglycemia. In addition, this hormone stimulates the process of glucogenesis, which also contribute in a hypoglycemia. The glucagon reduces cellular glucose uptake and utilization. The glucagon is a hypoglycemic hormone. Insulin is a peptide hormone which plays a major role in the regulation of glucose homeostasis. Insulin acts mainly as a hepatocyst and adipocyst cells of adipose tissue, enhance cellular glucose uptake and utilizations. As a result, there is a rapid movement of glucose from body blood to the hepatocyst and adipose, results in the decreased food glucose level, hypoglycemia. Insulin stimulates the conversion of glucose to glucogen, and that is glycogenesis in a target cell. The glucose homeostasis in the blood is thus maintained jointly by the two, insulin and glucagon. The prolonged hypoglycemia leads to a complex disorder called as diabetes mellitus, which is associated with the loss of glucose through urine and formation of a harmful compound, which is a ketone body. Diabetic patients are successfully treated with the insulin therapy. A pair of testes is present in the ascortal sacs outside the abdomen of the male individual. Testis is a dual function of primary sex organ as well as an endocrine. The testis is composed of seminiferous tubule and stromal interstitial tissues. Leading cells or interstitial cells which present in the intertubular space produce group hormones, androgen, mainly testosterone. The androgen regulates the development maturation functions of a male accessory sex organ like epididymis, vasa deferentia, seminal vesicle, prostate gland, urethra. These hormones stimulate muscular growth and facial and axillary hair and aggressiveness, low pitch and voice. Androgen plays a stimulatory role in the process of spermatogenesis, formation of sperms. Androgen act as a central neural system, influence the male sex behavior. Limbiod. These hormones produce an anabolic synthetic effect of the proteins and carbohydrate metabolism. Ovary is a pair of ovary located in the abdomen. Ovary is a primary sex organ that produces one ovum during each menstrual cycle. In addition, ovary also produces two groups of steroid hormone, estrogen, progesterone. Ovary is composed of ovarian follicle and stromal tissue. Estrogen is synthesized and secreted mainly by the growing ovarian follicle. After ovulation, the ruptured follicle is converted to structures of corpus luteum, which is secreted mainly the progesterone. Estrogen produces wide range of actions such as stimulations of growth, activity of female secondary sex organ, development of growth. The ovarian follicle, appearance of female secondary sex character, that is high pitch of voice. The mammalian gland develops. Estrogen regulates the female sexual behavior. The progesterone supports pregnancy. Progesterone acts on the mammary glands and stimulates the formation of alveoli, sac-like structure which stores milk and milk secretions. Hormones of hearts, kidney and gastrointestinal tracts. You now know that the endocrine glands and their hormones, however mentioned earlier, hormones are also secreted from the tissues which do not have endocrine gland. For example, atrial walls of the heart secretes a very small amount of peptide hormone called as atrial natriuretic hormones, which decreases blood sugar level. When the blood pressure is increased, ANF is secreted, which causes dilation of blood vessels. This reduces the blood pressure. The juxtaglobular cells of the kidney produce a peptide hormone called as erythropoietin, which stimulates the erythropoiesis formation of RBC. Endocrine cells present in different parts of the gastrointestinal tract secretes four major peptide hormones, namely gastrin, secretin, chlorocytokinin and gastric inhibitory peptide. The gastrin acts as a gastric glands, stimulates the secretions of hydrochloric acid and pepsinogen. Secretin acts as an exocrine pancreas and stimulates the secretion of water and bicarbonate ion. The CK, that is chlorocytoskin, acts on both the pancreas and gallbladder, stimulate the secretions of pancreatic enzymes, bile juice, respectively. The GIP, that is gastric inhibitory peptides, inhibit gastric secretion and mobility. The several other non-endocrine tissues secretes hormones called as growth factor. These factors are essential for the normal growth of the tissue and their repairing and regenerations. Hormones. Mechanism of hormone action. Hormones produce their effect on a target tissue by binding to a specific protein called as hormone receptor located in the target tissues only. The hormone receptor present in the cell's membrane of the target cells is called membrane bound receptor. The receptor present inside the target cells, intercellular receptor, mostly nuclear receptor present in the nucleus. Binding of the hormones to the receptor leads to the formation of hormone receptor complex. Each receptor is specific to one hormone only. The receptors are specific. Hormone receptor complex formation leads to a certain biochemical changes in the target tissue metabolism. Hence, physiological function regulates state by the hormones. On the basis of their chemical nature, hormones can be divided into groups: the peptide, polypeptide and protein hormones, insulin, glucagon, pituitary hormones, hypothalamic hormones, steroidal hormones, cortisol, testosterone, estradiol and progesterone, the thyroid hormones, amino acid derivatives, epiphyrin. Hormones also interact with the membrane bound receptors, normally do not enter the target cell but generate a secondary messenger. Cyclic, AMP, IP3 and calcium plus etc., which is in turn regulates the cellular metabolism. Hormones also interact with the intercellular receptor. Steroid hormones, iodothyronin, mostly regulates the gene expression or the chromosome functioning of interaction of hormone receptor complex with the genome. The cumulative biochemical action results in the physiological and developmental effects. Summary: there are several chemicals which act as hormones, provide chemical coordination, integration, regulations in the human body. This hormones regulates metabolism, growth, development of the organ. Endocrine glands are the certain cells. The endocrine system is composed of a hypothalamus, pituitary and pineal and thyroid, adrenal, pancreas and parathyroid, thymus and gonads, testis, ovary. In addition, these are some of the organs: gastrointestinal tract, kidney, heart, also produce hormones. The pituitary gland is divided into three major: paradistilla, paraintermedia and paranervosa. The paradistilla produces 6 trophic hormones. Paraintermedia secretes only 1 hormone, while the paranervosa secretes 2 hormones. The pituitary hormone regulates the growth and development of somatic tissues, activates peripheral endocrine glands. The pineal gland secretes melatonin, which plays an important role in the regulation of 24-hour diurnal rhythms of our body, the rhythms of sleeps and state of being awake, the body temperature. The thyroid hormones plays an important role in regulation of basal metabolic rate, development, maturation of central neural system, erythroporosis and metabolic carbohydrates, protein, fats, menstrual cycles. Another thyroid hormones, thyrocalcitonin, regulates the calcium level in the body by decreasing it. The parathyroid gland secretes the parathyroid hormones, which increases the calcium plus level in the blood and plays an important role in the calcium hypostasis. The thymus gland secretes a thymosin, which plays an important major role in differentiations of T lymphocytes, which also provides cell-mediated immunity. In addition, thyrosin also increases the production of antibodies to provide humoral immunity. The adrenal gland is composed of centrally located adrenal medulla, outer adrenal cortex. Adrenal medulla secretes epiphyrin and a neuroepiphyrin. These hormones increase alertness, pupil dilation, piloerection, sweating and heartbeat, strengthens of heart contraction, rate of respiration, glycogenesis, lipolysis and proteolysis. The adrenal cortex secretes a glucocorticoid, mineralocorticoid. The glucocorticoid stimulates glucogenesis, pyrolysis and proteolysis, erythropyrosis and cardiovascular system. The blood pressure and the glomerular filtration rates inhibits the inflammatory reaction by suppressing the immune response. Mineralocorticoids regulates water and electrolyte contents of the body. The endocrine pancreas secretes a glucagon and insulin. Glucagon stimulates the glycogenesis and glycolysis and glucogenesis. the resulting in the hyperglycemia. Insulin stimulates cellular glucose uptake and utilization and glycogenesis, resulting in the hypoglycemia. Insulin deficiency and the insulin resistance results in disease called as diabetes mellitus. The testis secretes androgen, which stimulates the development of maturation and functions of male accessory sex organ, appearance of a male secondary sexual character, spermatogenesis, male sexual behavior, anabolic pathway, and erythroporosis. Ovary secretes estrogen and progesterone. The estrogen stimulates the growth and development of accessory organs and the secondary sexual characters. The progesterone plays a major role in the maintenance of a pregnancy, as well as a mammalian gland develop and lactations. The atrial walls of the heart produces the atrial neuritic factor, which decreases from the blood pressure. The kidney produces erythroproteins, which stimulates the erythropoiesis. The gastrointestinal tract secretes gastrin, secretin, and cholecytokine and gastric inhibitory peptide. These hormones regulate the secretion of the digestive juices, help in the digestion. Thank you for watching.